No.
Okay, good evening, everyone. This is the March 28th, 2023 regular meeting of the Flemington Borough Planning Board. Meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. Both adequate and electronic notice of this meeting has been provided by way of publication in the Hunterdon County Democrat and Courier News newspapers on or about January 18th or 19th, 2023. In addition, notice of this meeting was posted on the door here at Borough of Flemington Municipal Building, 38 Park Avenue, and any handicapped accessible entrances here too. Posted on the municipal website, provided to the municipal clerk, and distributed to all persons, if any, requesting copies of the same. This meeting is being recorded with both audio and video and may be rebroadcast. This meeting is a judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to the issues that are relevant to what the board may legally consider in reaching a decision, and decorum appropriate to a judicial hearing must be maintained at all times. I'll ask everyone, please rise as you're able to pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Call the roll.
Mayor
Hey,
Carroll.
Jeff.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
I don't want to interrupt. We can't, is it just me or can anyone else not be? I don't know if we can't see you yet.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think the cameras are turned on.
Got it. I forgot to do that.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, so
Sorry, thanks.
James, would you mind that laptop over there, turn the camera on that one? Sure. Thanks. We can call the roll.
Mayor Carroll. Here. Mrs. Engelhardt. Here. Mr. Campion.
Here.
Mr. Dashna.
Here.
Mr. Levitt.
Here.
Mr. Cook is excused. Ms. Giffen. Here. Ms. Weitzman.
Here.
It's your.
Mr. Hill.
Turn the camera on the bottom left.
Oh, I see it. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Here.
Thank you. Mr. Semino.
There you go. There you
Mr. Ethel.
Here.
Mr. Weintraub.
Here.
Mr. Schob.
Here.
Ms. Kaczynski. Here. Mr. Farrakhan.
Here.
Mr. Troutman.
Here.
And Mr. Harris. Is here for Ms. McManus.
All right, thank you all. As always, first item on the agenda is time for public comments of items not currently in front of the board. But remember, the public wishes to speak. Please come forward. I don't see anybody else on Zoom, so we'll start. Please, folks.
Lois Stewart, Flemington Borough. I have 2 points that I would like to clarify. One, what is the status of the master plan? I know you guys were working on it, but have you completed your work? Has the council accepted? I mean, what is the status?
It was accepted in December. It was passed by this board in December.
And what is the status now?
Was accepted by the board in December.
But has it been sent to the council? Don't they?
Council has no jurisdiction over the master plan in New Jersey.
I see, okay. So we do have an amended master plan right now.
Yep.
Okay, and where can I see a copy of that would delineate the changes?
We had a copy with changes in the fall.
I don't know what's been posted.
I don't know if there's a red line version posted on the website. I know that Beth had one
During public.
during public comments back in the fall, but I don't think it's,
copy. Yeah, it's a working document.
can I get back to you at the next meeting? Because
Certainly may.
I don't know if there is a single document that has a side by side. I know we have the new document is up on the website and there's a copy here.
And we have a compilation of.
And there's a compilation of all the current planning documents, which includes stuff that wasn't updated, like housing plan, sustainability, circulation, open space, historic preservation, all those that hadn't been changed. So we have one PDF with all of that, but I don't know if there's a red line of the ones that were updated. I'll let the next meeting, I'll have an
I
answer
would
for
just
you.
like to ask a specific question then. I've heard some scuttlebutt that master plan was going to make it easier to demolish buildings.
I don't think there was anything in there about demolition, and that demolition falls under construction code
Yes.
and ordinances. So those are council things. I mean, was there anything in there?
I don't remember anything about demolition in the master plan that we discussed at all. I
Yeah.
mean, Hannah was on that committee. I don't remember anything related to demolition in the master plan. And I don't think it would be under our jurisdiction.
The only thing that recently came up that talked about demolition at all was updates to the HPC ordinances that dealt with certified local government. I think that might have been the only place where even the word demolition showed up. That we talked about
And those
recently.
HPC plans are exhibits in the master plan.
Right, so, but that's that, I would say, Kim Tilley's the HPC liaison, so ask, Kim's, I would talk to Kim about, to see if there's anything in there, but we haven't done anything with demolition. That I remember.
The second point of clarification that I would like is there is a public hearing today on this one issue, and I would like to know. In past meetings, when the CUS plan was before this board. You, Mr. Dashna, limited the public to 3 minutes in the public hearing, not in the comment period. But in the public hearing, it's my understanding that by law, you can't limit people in public hearings. So I want to clarify that before we get to the public hearing.
I'm gonna ask the lawyer to talk about the law,
You weren't the chair.
and I wasn't the chair when that went through, but.
First of all, you're going to hear there's not going to be a public hearing tonight, so we'll announce that at the appropriate time. The hearing's going to be adjourned. With regard to the public comment period, our bylaws do indicate that the chairman has the right in certain circumstances or in all circumstances, to limit the time period within which the public can speak at public hearings. With regard to public comment on public hearings, that has been the practice. That's been a consistent practice since it was enacted, since I've been here. And that's the procedure we follow.
But it was not the procedure long ago before certain people came to have power on the planning board.
That I can't.
I know you can't comment. I'm not asking for a comment. I'm making a statement that given the expanse of this hearing, I would be happier if the chair would not impose that restriction. I took careful notes at the time. I was in Robert Shore's office watching on the Zoom. It was at the time that you were the chair at that time, or sitting in for the chair, because you explained the 3-minute limit when I questioned it, that you were doing it because it followed the council's procedures of limiting to 3 minutes. But that did not speak to any differential between a public comment period and a public hearing period. So I would like to have an adequate time to discuss my concerns when we get to a public hearing.
If I misspoke at that point, I apologize. Kara, I think, clarified what our board's rules for citizen input, the limit, and but I'm hearing what you're saying.
Thank you very much.
Any other members of the public wish to speak? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item 2, Mayor Farrow.
The only thing I was going to just, and I mentioned this to the chair, the council last night moved our first meeting in April back to Monday, April 10th. It was going to be on Tuesday, April 11th. So, you know, I suggested that if you want to bring your meeting back to Tuesday, the 11th, it was now open. I'm just throwing that out there and letting the planning board also know that that's when we'll be meeting, and that's other than that, we had another fabulous ordinance subcommittee meeting today, very, very productive. And we all met Brett, Mr. Harris today, those of us that were on that call. So I'm moving along on the first ordinance, looking at the TC dump. And I also want to just publicly again acknowledge how wonderful Eileen is as our Secretary of the Planning Board, who left me a full package for the Spice Factory for Miss Stewart. To my shock, awe, and amazement. And Ms. Stewart was also delighted when I found the package waiting for her on my desk. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I did acknowledge that to the
I'm sure you did.
Item 3, council comments, Susan?
Yeah, I'll reiterate, what the mayor said, and that we had a really productive, subcommittee, meeting today. Dennis, was also in attendance, so thank you. Thank you, the Kyle McManus, everybody involved in that work. They produced a lot of work, today, and the meeting went well. So I appreciate that. Yeah, the change, I know we always adjust for the council schedule, and now the council adjusted. But I don't necessarily know if it makes any sense to change our meeting or not, since ours was already published for the 18th, but yeah, we've got an extra week there, so maybe instead of changing our meeting schedule, maybe we take advantage with an extra subcommittee meeting at that time, or whatever we want to do. We do have a little wiggle room in the schedule, thanks to council's change. And we're always looking for an additional, some additional time to do some work, so maybe we take advantage of that on the 11th. And then finally, there was not much going on as far as council related to planning board, but there was one interesting public comment at last night's public portion of the minutes, and essentially there was an introduction of a group that came to the public comments that were discussing the possibility of them filing an application for a therapeutic medicine nursing kind of system, a program. It's called ATC program. It's related to cultivating cannabis company. So it was interesting. It was an interesting presentation, and don't know what that will go to, but it's kind of related to a lot of the stuff we've been reviewing lately. So I thought I'd mention.
Thanks, Susan. Item 4, HPC comments. We had 2 or 3 HPC resolutions. 2 came through since our last meeting. Dennis, is there anything else to report on?
No, you mentioned that they approved 2 fence applications, 27 Maple and 38 East Main Street. Eileen had forwarded that to everyone on the board. And just a reminder, we're still working on the historic house tour. Save the date, June 3rd from 11 to 5. Tickets will be going on sale soon. We are looking for people to assist in the planning or else helping out the day of the event. So if anyone's interested, please let us know. That's all I got.
Thanks, Dennis. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from our last meeting of March 14th, 2023. Can I get a motion and second on the minutes?
Moved.
Love it, second.
Any discussion or clarification or correction on the minutes?
Mayor Karen,
Yes.
Mr. Levitt,
Yes.
Mrs. Engelhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Campion,
Yes.
Mr. Dashna,
Yes.
Ms. Given,
Yes.
Ms. Weitzman,
Yes,
Mr. Hill,
Abstain.
and Mr. Semino.
Yes.
Item 6 on our agenda is the public hearing for BSC Flemington Apartments LLC, block 39, lots 3 and 4, preliminary and final site plan with D variances, bulk variances, waivers, and lot closure.
Okay, so Mr. Chair, I received a call very late in the game by the applicant's counsel. Based upon some of the variances that were identified in the board planner's report, they have made the safe determination to renotice the application. Notice will go out not only to all property owners within 200 feet, but also to the newspaper as required by the municipal land use law. All we have to do is make a determination as to when the application is scheduled for. I was speaking with counsel, not realizing that we were skipping that week, the 11th. He didn't think he had enough time to notice. Now that we have it on the 18th, I believe he does have enough time to notice for that if we're planning to schedule it for that.
let me make it clear, it was always on the 18th. It
Right,
just wasn't.
but-
unusual.
I didn't realize
Yeah,
that,
no,
at the
it's-
time I was speaking with him, I didn't have my calendar in front of me.
So-
I just don't want it to be inferred that we were changing a date.
No,
you
no,
know?
no, not at all. It's
So,
just my not
So
having
the
a
18th
calendar.
is our next notice meeting, but did you communicate to applicants council that the 25th would have been the better time? Like, did they say that?
I didn't give him a date.
You may be.
I didn't give him any date at all, and the board can schedule it for whenever they like.
So in terms of just what's coming, I mean, this is the only open item right now, so I don't think there's much of a difference in terms of our workflow between 18th and 25th.
And that's what I indicated, I didn't think we had
Yeah,
anything
either
else.
Karen or I
received.
could reach out to the council and offer those dates. or-
Yeah, I just making sure, is there any, between the 18th and the 25th, would we be missing a chunk of board members on either of those dates?
Yeah, why don't we check that, because that is a D variance, so we are.
That's why I'm asking.
I'm gonna be away on the 18th. I could zoom in, but I'll be out of town.
Then I would prefer, given parking is a substantial part of this application, then we go with the 25th then. If that would.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So we're not gonna make any.
Sorry. It's gonna be more than one meeting for sure.
It'll be more than one meeting.
Okay.
You don't need to make any sort of announcement.
There's no announcement because we're not continuing anything.
Correct.
We're just moving on to the next item on the agenda, which is chair items. So our next meeting is the 18th. We did tentatively say that both the bylaws group and the ordinance groups were gonna be able to report back on the 18th as to where they were with that work. There's no other applications or anything else, I think that you know.
No, nothing that's been submitted. There are a few that, some interest and some people are getting some things together, but you never know until they
Okay.
submit.
Just because always one of the residents in the are you stating that the public hearing for the Spice Factory will definitely be on the 25th?
They have to know this. I mean,
Okay,
They have to notice, so we're not carrying it because they have to renotice, so it's not like it's an adjournment where we're keeping the notice and publication as is and carrying it, so we don't need to make an announcement in public tonight.
right.
Eileen and I will reach out, let them know that the board has asked that it be rescheduled for that date. It's possible some of their professionals may not be able to make that date.
But it definitely won't be on the 18th because Jake.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. Actually, I was just reaching out, it looks like that will be okay, we will confirm with that.
And given the complexity of this one, I do not think this is gonna be a one meeting hearing, just to let folks know, so. All right, any other chair items, members of the board?
No.
Eileen sent around the bills. Can I get a motion to audit the bills?
So. I'm excited.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Levitt?
Yes.
Mayor Carroll?
Yes.
Mrs. Engelhardt? Yes. Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mr. Dashna?
Yes.
Ms. Giffen?
Yes.
Ms. Weitzman?
Yes,
And Mr. Sinina?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Item 9 on the agenda, professional reports. Kara, do you have any?
I don't, just if anyone else had any other comments or questions with regard to the bylaws or on the rules of citizen input, just please let me know so I can make sure we provide spots values.
Mr. Clarko, anything from the engineer?
No, no.
Jay from traffic?
Nothing.
You're not Beth? but that's okay.
The only thing to report is just what the mayor and Councilmember Engelhardt mentioned. We had the ordinance subcommittee meeting today, and our priority right now is that area south of Route 12. And we're also looking at TC permitted uses.
All right. Any need to go to executive session? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That is on.
Right.